Bhupenda is now Bharat Ratna. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special show. The Bard of the Brahmaputra is finally crowned. Yes, Assam could not have received a better news this Republic Day. After all, it was 2 decades ago that veteran Congress leader Lokopriya Gopinath Bordoloi was awarded the Bharat Ratna, Assam's first to have been conferred with the highest civilian award. Well, this has made Dr. Bhupen Hazarika only the second Assamese to have bagged the Bharat Ratna. Well, the maestro is always with us in our thoughts and psyche. But this crowning, the conferring of the Bharat Ratna on Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, this time, this recognition has once again brought the maestro back amongst us in a very, very big way. To celebrate the occasion and talk about the event, I have with me in the studios Kamal Kotoki, musician and a long-time associate of Bhupenda, Mr. Santanu Thakur, a former IAS officer, Mr. Samudragupta Kashyap, veteran journalist, popular actor Kapil Bora, and writer and commentator Mayur Bora. Gentlemen, welcome to this special program. I am Wasbir Hussain. First, I would like to go to you, Samudragupta Kashyap. It's a very big event, isn't it? What were your first reactions when you heard about this event last night?
It was really a very, very big news for the entire country, entire Northeast, entire Assam. And though it was expected, because this was the last opportunity for the present government to declare this award in his name, and he was waiting, particularly the award was waiting for him after he was awarded the Padma Vibhushan in 2011, was it?
Right.
11. And then, so it is great in the sense that India has finally been honored with the Bharat Ratna to Bhupen Hazarika. I look at it this way. India has now honored herself that Bhupen Hazarika has been declared as a Bharat Ratna. But that is not a recognition to just him alone. It is a recognition to the people of Assam, it is a recognition to the culture of Assam, it is a recognition to the Northeast,
Absolutely.
it is a recognition to the toiling people for whom he had sung, and it is also a recognition to that trend of music that he has set about talking about people, singing about people, not only about Assam, not only from the banks of the Brahmaputra, but across the globe and beyond.
Absolutely,
and
Homudra, you have said, you have hit the right chord right at the beginning. Actually, you have known Bhupenda so well. Let me go to Kamal Kotoki. Kamal, you have been associated with Bhupenda for so long. You are a familiar face on the stage wherever he performed for many years. Kamal, the Brahmaputra must be glistening today under the, winter sun. What thoughts crossed your mind when you heard the news yesterday?
This is the best news for the entire people of Assam, Northeast and India of this century, I think.
Right.
So you see, during British rule, when Bhupenda was a little boy, at the age of 13, he dreamt a dream of making new India, new Assam. Like, of the fiery age, I am a spark. I will build up a new Assam to the have-nots. I will bring back whatever they have lost. I will build up a new Assam, and as well as India. So he is a true Indian, true Assamese. What should I say? I exactly do not, cannot term it. But Dr. Bhupen Hazarika represents Assam, Northeast and India as a cultural ambassador in the globe. I think that's why he deserves it.
Absolutely, he deserves it. Mr. Santanu Thakur, irrespective of the timing, better late than never. Okay, he should have perhaps got Bharat Ratna long back, but there is no point in cribbing about it now, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, the Bard of the Brahmaputra has been crowned.
Yes, absolutely. That's very heartening. And in fact, I see it in a different way also. Sometimes a posthumous award also sort of brings back the image, the creations, the achievements, the contributions of the artist back into the collective consciousness.
Absolutely.
So all that he did for his motherland, all that he dreamt about his country,
right,
that sort of is brought alive again. So I don't really think this sort of gives the posthumous memory of Bhupen Hazarika a fresh lease of life. He is
Absolutely.
back today in the national consciousness.
Absolutely. As I've said, Mr. Santanu Thakur, in my introduction, that Bhupen Hazarika is always there with us in our consciousness, in our psyche. But this massive recognition has once again brought him back amongst us in a very, very big way. Mayur Bora, what are your thoughts?
No, it is very good, but my feelings are somewhat mixed, Wasbir. I know that Bhupen Hazarika and the modern Assam is defined by three Bs, the Brahmaputra, Bihu and Bhupen Hazarika. So personally, I am very happy that he has got the award. But also it has brought to the mainstream certain thoughts that immediately after his demise in 2011, the UPA government then led by Manmohan Singh, who has come from, gone to the Rajya Sabha from Assam, did not fit to honor with Bharat Ratna just because he contested the Guwahati Lok Sabha election in 2004 on BJP ticket. Secondly and more importantly, after the BJP government came to power in 2014, they waited for 4 years. So it has made me to believe that certain amount of real politics has also played in this award being given to this great undying maestro of Northeastern region.
Absolutely.
But I feel better late than never, but I will want that whatever government comes to power, they will try to honor the true artists and icons of this country without being swayed by real politics and more by their respect and love for these maestros.
I could not have agreed with you more, Mayur. But for the record, you said that the Manmohan Singh government perhaps did not thought it necessary to recognize him because he had contested
Yes,
one
that is the
election
reason.
on a BJP ticket, but later on, Bhupenda had written a letter. In fact, he had also given a copy of that letter to me. I distinctly remember today, Kamal Kotoki, where he has expressed his anguish. He regretted the fact that he contested elections, not the political party. The fact that he contested an election, he regretted that fact. But for the record, we must say that the first Bharat Ratna came when the BJP was in power under the leadership of Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 1999. That was conferred to Gopinath Bordoloi. And this Bharat Ratna to our iconic Dr. Bhupen Hazarika's call also come under a BJP government led by Narendra Modi. I am not seeing any coincidence. This is just a fact. Matter of fact that I am saying, and nothing, it should not be read as anything more than this. Kapil Bora, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a personal achievement, victory for every citizen who loves our state, you know. But more than that, I think it's a victory for the entire world. For me, Dr. Bhupen Hazarika is the finest artist of the century in the whole world. For me, he's a world citizen. Like he has said in his songs, Moiti Jajabor, he's a wanderer. So I think he's a wandering minstrel for me. And so I think this is a personal victory for each and every citizen of the state who loves our state. And not just the state, the entire Northeast and the entire country. Because he was one of the finest artists, is one of the finest artists who stood for the people and who is truly a modern world citizen of
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a live show. This is a live show being viewed by viewers across the country and the diaspora, Assamese diaspora outside. Honorable Dr. Kashyap, you know, the Brahmaputra was one of the high points. That was one of the focus of his central theme of so many of his songs, you know. And if he is the bard of the Brahmaputra, he was also a global citizen, as Kapil has said. And the Thames also is familiar to Bhupen Hazarika and his people who have been following him, because that figured more than once in his lyrics.
Bhupen Hazarika grew up under the wings of Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, the eminent poet who had in one of his poems said that the moment I am born, even in a village, I become a global citizen. This is said in 1940. So the first concept of a global citizen came from Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, and Bhupen Hazarika grew up under his wings. A. B. He was born on the banks of the Brahmaputra in a village which is no longer there. It was taken away by the river. 3. During the formative years, he had seen from very close quarters Paul Robson singing that famous song.
We're in the same boat.
Old Man River.
1949.
And it is only recently that this song has completed 90 years. It was written in 1927. And there's a BBC documentary, radio documentary, recently released, which talks about that particular song and how that song continues to reverberate on the banks of the Brahmaputra in India.
Absolutely.
And then it goes beyond to Bangladesh as the Padma Boisokino.
Yes.
So that's where Bhupen Hazarika, and unlike Old Man River, where River is seen only as a silent spectator. Here Bhupen Hazarika talks to the river, quarrels with the river, questions the river, why do you flow? Why don't you awaken 1,000 heroes? Why don't you awaken the people? Why don't you inspire me? Why do you inspire the people? That's where Bhupen Hazarika was. And not just the Brahmaputra alone. He sung songs about even small rivers.
Absolutely.
Like even the Kakordunga has appeared in his song. The songs of the Kopili has appeared there. And he has sung also songs about
Disang.
the Kho. Then he goes beyond. He goes beyond so much so that he, along with his brother, probably have sung the highest number of songs about rivers of the world, which is not sung in any other language. Imagine,
Absolutely.
the Lohit, Kabadi, Hindu, Ganga, you take Volga to Mississippi, any river,
Absolutely.
you name it, it is there in my language because of Bhupen Hazarika.
And you know,
he belonged to the world. He was
he
the
belonged
first,
to the world. He was a
the
global
first global
citizen.
citizen, the
Absolutely.
best global citizen India had ever produced.
Best global citizen that India has ever produced. Kamal Kotuki, you know, he was a man, take the case of the Northeast. We'll not go outside the Northeast right now, but perhaps he was the only singer, only major iconic singer who talked about all the communities in the Northeast by name. He talked about location. He had sang so many songs about Shillong, for example. He had talked about communities. So what does it mean according to you?
Actually, Bhupenda believed strictly 100% on integration of Northeast people. That's why he made the first Khasi film, Khasi feature film, Kasarati, for Meghalaya. Now Meghalaya didn't
Khasi and Jaintia
Khasi and Jaintia, where he had composed a beautiful music, and the story of that is again he made in Assamese as Pratidhani Manik Raitong. Again, if you go to the Arunachal, the first film from Arunachal in Hindi, Mera Dharam Merima, directed by Bhupenda. So, and for the sentiment of that people of Northeast, he respects. That's why he sang so many songs on Arunachal. Siya ngore galong, luhi tore khamti, aditira pore wansue muk kiyo masi.
See, that's what you see the names, the lyrics, Moyor, you know, the lyrics with the song which Kamal Kotuki just sang. How many names of places and communities just in that two lines?
It brings me to the memory of when he was 13 years of age, he wrote that famous number called Agnisugor Firingoti Moy. And that famous number, he says, Horizon Pahari Hindu Muslim or Borupus Sutia Kosari Ahom or Ontor Bhedi Moguar. So he was talking about coordination, synergy, synthesis from a very young age. And much before that, when he was 11 years of age, when he was taken by his parents from Tezpur to Bordua, the birthplace of Mahapurush Srimanta Konkordev, he came back to Tezpur and wrote the first song, Kuhumbor Putra Srikhankar Gurue, Dhorisil Namore Tan, Namore Khurote Kopi Utisil, Povitra Bordua Than, Anandot Nasil, Povitra Bordua Than, 11 years old. So his genius came to the fore, it came to known to all the people when he was just 11.
Absolutely.
And thereafter, as Samudragupta Kashyap has rightly said, under the aegis of Fani Khorma, Jyoti Prasad Agarwala and great Vishnu Prasad Rava, I think the genius that has been bubbling inside that man really get reflected and throughout from northeast and Bhupen Hazarika once very famously said, you cannot love the whole universe. If you want to really love the universe, you have to love a patch of it. And for me, that patch of universe is Assam and the northeastern region.
Correct.
I think so beautifully he has echoed the sentiments of a true world citizen, and that's why Bhupen Hazarika is always special to not only from someone in Northeast but maybe someone in Brazil or in Argentina.
As well, absolutely. I'll come to you, Kapil Bora, but you know, let me tell. Yes, we are talking about Brazil. We are talking. Samudragupta talked about his association with Paul Robson, Old Man River, that famous song. It was composed in 1927, maybe 1 year after Dr. Bhupen Hazarika was born, and it continued to have a rung a bell on him. And now, Kapil Bora, you know, what does Bhupenda mean to the younger generation, to Gen X or Gen Y, for example? Do you think, you know, somewhere it is our responsibility to make them see the great humanist, and now that he is no more, do you think the responsibility on us is much more?
Yeah, it's more.
And this award is going to play that kind of a role in a very big way.
Yeah, as Handanuda has said, people are going to remember him again. Just for suddenly, you know, everyone is sitting back and realizing that Dr. Bhupen Hazarika has got the Bharat Ratna, not just in Assam, but all over the country. You know, people are realizing all over the world. And people will now, the young generation will be now keen and eager to know what were his contributions, what were his songs. Because it's a little sad though, because you know what, even people who are very good with the Assamese language, even people who are educated in the vernacular medium, they don't understand the lyrics, I feel, of the songs, the greatness, the philosophy behind the lyrics of Dr. Bhupen Hazarika.
Yeah.
A certain section, because they are exposed to very, very poor and very poor lyrics and poor songs, and so they fail to understand the greatness and the universality of the songs, written by Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. I'm not talking about everyone. I'm talking about a very small section of the society. I think now it will be for them to realize, see what a great human being he was and what a great artist he was.
Right.
And I'm reminded now of when we were talking, Kamalda was talking about Pratidhwani. I was reminded of this one, the Pratidhwani I saw when I was very young. The Doordarshan used to telecast those films, the black and white flickering images.
right.
And even if you see those images now, you mute the volume, you won't be able to know which language film is this. It's got such a universal appeal. It might be some film from, some other European country, or from, it might be Marathi film, it might be Hindi film. His was such on an international level, and the frames, the way he lit the scenes, everything was, his sophistication. So that has to be learned as an actor. I think as a filmmaker, we have to learn a lot from him, not just as a singer, musician.
Mr. Santanu Thakur, you have been you have held senior positions in the government. You have been with the government for more than 35 years. My question to you, we say, oh, Sarkar etu koribo lage, Sarkar amuk to koribo lage. I mean, people always say that it's the government's responsibility to do this and that. But can this, the philosophy of Bhupen Hazarika, his lyrics, today, of course, sadly, I'm not generalizing, we don't find that kind of lyrics which gives out a solid message to society. Humanism, great humanism, we are talking about equality, we're talking about our resources, we're talking about our community, we're talking about our land. These kind of lyrics just seem to be missing, but that's a different story. I'm not generalizing. But Santanu Thakur, do you think it is the government also can contribute? And if so, what can they contribute to keep this legacy alive? If not, is it also the responsibility of the entire Assamese as a race?
See, the way I see it is, the government can at best be a facilitator. The initiative has to be taken by the people of Assam and the people of the country. You see, in states like Bengal, etc., people are, taking apart strains of Salil Chaudhary's music, the great musicians and writers, etc., of West Bengal, and then, taking it threadbare out and trying to locate how these excellent gems of music or literature were formed and how it can be further developed. So Bhupen Hazarika, you see, was a total product. He was not just a lyricist, he was not just an excellent writer, he was not just an excellent baritone. It was a total, his icon image was a total product. So how he sort of used his words, how he used to play on his words, how he used to blend the folk and the modern, how he used to create a individual stamp in his music.
Yeah.
All this has to be understood by the newer generations,
Right.
and then
No.
worked upon it,
Yeah.
and taken on, not just repeat singing of his songs,
Yeah.
but further built up of further music, further musical scores on what he has left to us.
Absolutely. I'll go for a short break, but before that, Kamal Kotoki, when we are talking about how to take Bhupenda's legacy forward, keep it alive for the younger generation who have not had the opportunity to keep and watch him live or have had the opportunity to see him live, my question is to you is, Kamal Kotoki, do you think that should be part of the curriculum in school or colleges at least, made compulsory? Is it because he's not just a singer or a musician, right, or an artist or a literature, but these lyrics have a deep meaning which is relevant in today's very, very complex Assamese society.
I think not only in the Assamese medium schools, in each and every English medium schools, his
I didn't say-
translated version of songs must be
Yeah, I said
included
generally.
in the
All
curriculum.
schools.
All schools.
All schools.
In
I
all
said
the
that.
schools.
Yeah. So you are saying, continue,
Yes,
please
yeah.
continue.
So, because Bhupenda's songs comes always with a message, with an issue-based song. Even if if it is a romantic song, it is also, there is an issue. If it is a social revolutionary song, there is an issue. That's why this small spark helped Bhupenda to create one song. It
Okay.
may be a social, it may be a romantic song. So that's why new generation should learn how to create a song. Then
Absolutely.
if they start reading this Bhupenda's lyrics, starting listening Bhupenda's lyrics, then they will be able to improve their creativity also.
Before the break, I'm going to take a break right now. But Homodra Gupta Kashyap, how about introducing this introducing this as part of the curriculum? Is it a good idea?
It's a very good idea. In fact, a lot of people think that Bhupen Hazarika was a singer. He was a lyricist. That's not. He's a great communicator, but continued the tradition of Shankar-Dev, Jyoti Prasad Agarwala, Bez Borua to the present times.
Absolutely.
We are lucky that we have had a great communicator who used music, who used songs, he used words for social change, as Paul Robson used the guitar as an instrument of social change.
Absolutely.
So these need to be taken to the people, taken to the students, taken to the younger generation. I'll give you one small example how it impacts. I was watching television one day sitting at home. It's a live program where the then Prime Minister had gone to Itanagar and the then Chief Minister had received him and you had just felicitating him. And my younger daughter, she was just little at the time, hardly 5 or 6 years. She said, Devda, look at that, that's a Mompa Kokaiti. I said, how do you find it? Oh, he is giving him a Buddha Murti, that song.
Right.
Mompa Kokaiti, Dilamon Buddha Murti. Look at the impact. He gave him, so Buddha Murti can be given,
Right.
but idol of the
You know,
Buddha
that's
is given by.
why,
That's
just,
impact.
sorry, I'm butting in.
Yeah.
That's why you see the Nokia, they had, you'd remember, a tagline called Connecting People.
Connecting
So I say Bhupen Hazarika, Connecting Hearts.
connecting.
Bhupen Hazarika, connecting
It
hearts.
can be a small lesson in a CBSE course. It can be a small,
Absolutely.
and then it can go beyond and become
all
a
over
Latin
India,
India.
all over India, all over
I've seen-
India.
and
And
CBSE.
not just the lyrics.
Now-
Another thing is
now-
very important. Not only his work, his life.
Life,
Let me give
exactly.
you one example. When he landed up at a very young age in the United States of America, dreaming of doing a PhD in Columbia University, he landed up in jail. For 7 days, he was in jail because he was associated with that great book by Vishnu Prasad Rava, Mukti Dev, Temple of Freedom. He was taken and said, you wrote this book. So, and that time, you know, McCarthyism and much before that,
Yeah.
everything was in ascendancy in the United States of America. So he was put
Put
in
in quarantine.
So we can,
Put
so we can
in
learn many
quarantine.
things. The kind of
Absolutely.
struggles he has undergone and come up so victorious with a universal message to the humankind.
Absolutely, and
Again,
that is where perhaps the government can play a role. If we have to have Bhupen Hazarika as a subject of study or as a chapter at least, there that is where the government has a role. We'll go for a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Bhupenda is now Bharat Ratna. Welcome to this special live show. Kapil Bora, you know, Bhupenda is perhaps the only pan-India singer or communicator from Assam in that medium. Now, he sang in Assamese, he sang in Bengali, he sang in Hindi, he sang in English, and I don't know in how many other languages. He also sang in Nepali. I've heard one song, Kamal Kotaki will bear me out on this. So, what does this mean? The only pan-India singer and musician from Assam.
Yeah, he was not just from Assam, from the entire Northeast. And I'm not just concerned about the languages, but what he tried to say in his songs, the kind of philosophy that evolved from his songs, the way he stood for the people, the way he said that Ajir Ahamiya nijog nisinile din Aham rahatole jabo. You know, he could see the future. He was a man who could see the future, the way the society was going, the way our community was going. And that he warned us through his songs, that he told us through his songs that if you don't, you know, stand up for your rights now, if you don't pull up your socks now, you're going to be in danger. The community's whole identity is going to be in danger.
Yeah.
Those are the thoughts which he had in mind. So I think that as we were talking before the break about the introduction of his lyrics in the school curriculum, but I think a chapter should be there talking about his life, the ideals and the principles he stood for. A chapter which will tell young minds, impressionable minds, that these were the things which made this man great, and these were the things which have to be followed by you to be great in life, so that you can do something for our society, so that you can do something for our state, the way Bhupen Hazarika has done, because nobody else is going to contribute towards our society, towards the Northeast, towards Assam especially, the way Bhupen Hazarika has done. Not just because the way he spoke his or sang in his language, but because of his ideology and philosophy of life.
No, Mayur, you know, we all everybody, Assam is identified with Srimanta Shankardev's philosophy, humanism, universal brotherhood. We talk about the same universal brotherhood of Azan Fakir. But after that, 15th, 16th century, after that, will it be an exaggeration to say that it was only Bhupen Hazarika, who talked about these themes, and whose themes, as Santanu Thakur has said, that he was the communicator who connected hearts, and you cannot connect hearts unless you absolutely talk about, you see people as humans, and you talk about only only humanism and nothing else.
No, if you read history, you will find that 150 years or 200 years after the demise of Srimanta Shankardeva, if you can see the impact on his Azan Fakir, you can make out that initially that impact was there. But because of certain historical facts, I think this is not the right occasion to talk about. So I will not go into details. So in between 150 to 200 years, it took a backseat. Again in the 19th century, when Anandaram Dhekial Fukon, Gunabiram Borua and Hemchandra Borua started for fighting for the Assamese language and rehabilitating the language in its own homeland, then only it gradually started, then followed by Lakhinath Besbora, Hemchandra Goswami and Chandra Kumar Agarwala, and then came your Jyoti Prasad Agarwala and Vishnu Rabha. So in that backdrop, Bhupen Hazarika emerged with a tremendous amount of legacy, but the greatest, I think, contribution of this iconic man is he not only sat behind only with that legacy, he tried to really enrich it with a different kind of narrative which is much more universal and which can be connected in a modern
much more contemporary.
He would remain contemporary all the time. If you talk about Bhupen Hazarika, you must talk about love and romance also. There's few of the numbers in which he talk about physical proximity between a man and a woman. I doubt in any of the languages whether we can have such a high felicity of words as displayed by this great maestro. See, Bimurtamo Nikati Jen, Kize Notun Nagini Tumar, then Kize Tumar Hongo Priya, Mitha Tumar Hongo. All those things so beautiful. You can sing in front of your son and daughter, who may be a teenage son or teenage daughter. But you can sing that just because of the beauty, just because of the philosophy and the exquisite niceness with which he has infused new energy to the whole concept of love and romance.
Kamal Kotoki, if I ask you a simple question, what was Bhupen Hazarika's philosophy? What will be your answer?
His philosophy, what should I say, that he always believed in a casteless society. That's why he never believed, never want to confine him within certain community.
Manohar is the theme.
He does not believe in quota-based policy also, because Bhupenda was facing very badly poverty during his college life, and his brother Amoda had to drive truck to pay his fees, school fees, college fees.
I was reading The Undying Maestro, the coffee table book written by Zarir Hussain yesterday. Last night I was glancing through it after getting this fantastic news. Said that he worked as a part-time lift operator in his university. That came as one of the news to me actually, Hamudra Gupta Kaishap.
No, see, he had seen poverty from very close quarters. Even if you go through his Assamese biography, Moiety Jajabor, he mentions there very clearly, yes, he had told when Priyambara Patel had proposed to him that I want to marry you, he said, please don't think of such things. I come from a very humble background. My father is struggling there to make both ends meet. We got 10 children at home. He's retired. We live in a rented house. Also, and I am thinking of collecting money, gathering money by working as a lift boy to send back home a few dollars.
Even Bhupenda told Priyambara Patel that I was in love with a girl. These are just so frank. Yeah. So I cannot give you that kind of love to you.
So he's seen poverty, he's seen suffering from very close quarters. He wanted to send money by working as a liftman to sustain his family, to support his father back home in Guwahati. That was what. When he returned from the US, when he returned from the US, he was felicitated in Uzan Bazar in Guwahati. And he writes there that I came walking, I saved 2 annas, which I just spent on a rickshaw. That was the poverty he had seen. So
those were the times. Times were such. In fact, most of the geniuses who were bred during that period of time in the history of Assam or India, those values permeated almost all of them.
And the
In
biggest thing happened was that he had seen the world. Another thing,
he was
seen
a
the world.
humanist.
Absolutely.
He could overcome also, Wasbir, if I can butt in, immediately after coming from US and joining Guwahati University, there is a section of the Assamese people only who said he has a fake doctorate. He is not actually doctorate. At that point of time, Mr. Fonidhar Dutta, the registrar of Guwahati University, had to write to the Columbia University and
get a
got
copy
the
of
facts
that.
correct. So this also he has overcome.
He has faced all this.
He took it in his stride. And I think you can correct me if I am wrong, the most important incident in his life, why he became a world citizen in the true sense of the term, is that 3-day salary cut when he went to Russia and Helsinki and came back to Guwahati University. And I am not blaming those people who had to cut because they had to abide by rules and regulation. But because of that, he resigned and he went to Calcutta.
Yeah.
And that was the new
Kapil,
story
that's
of
the most
Bhupen
struggling
Hazarika.
period, the
Yeah, that
Calcutta
was the
period.
most. That was the
disguise
blessing
for
in disguise. That was the most important event in his life.
And that's
Even
the
That
trying
changed the
time.
course
when
of his life.
he
Turning point.
That's the turning point.
started
There's a
his
trying
life
time.
in Kolkata in a small room in Howrah.
200
He was-
rupees.
To Howrah, not in Telegon's. He was living in Howrah in a small room, and sometimes he had to take only muri and a glass of water as
that,
his dinner.
Could
After
I-
5
could
years,
I come in,
one wrote an
Wasbir,
editorial
could
that
I
he is a
speak on
product
this?
of Assam, but a pride of
Yeah,
Bengal.
please. Yes, Santanu,
See,
please.
that living in poverty, abject poverty, etc., things are really, those are not quite the quotient for which I love Bhupendra. Several great people have lived lives of penury in some part of their time lives. So, but you see, this man was a Republican spirit, man with a Republican spirit, with the true sense of the term.
Yes.
He loved Assam because passionately. He was with the Assamese people whenever the race was in hour of crisis. But he always looked, he was also a nationalist, so that he was never a chauvinist or a parochialist. But he, although he loved
Perhaps,
his...
Kapil, perhaps this is the reason. This is the reason he was a global citizen, he was a humanist, he was not, as Santanu Thakur said, not a chauvinist, he was for everybody. That is the reason why he was a great connector.
Exactly, and there are so many artists. I think this is nothing very spectacular or anything. That there were so many great artists during that era who came from very, very humble backgrounds and who had really struggled hard to make a mark for themselves. And Bhupen Hazarika happened to be just one of them. But I think that because he came from because he's seen very hard times, I think that made him very sensitive to the to people around him. You know, people who were deprived, people who didn't have the means for livelihood. That's why he was so sensitive.
On the same boat with them.
He felt so good because if he had been born with a silver spoon in mouth, maybe he would not have been as sensitive as he was. You know, that's why he was sensitive. I think that's nothing great, but yes, that struggle period was there.
Regarding global
yeah.
citizen, I wanted to speak one line on this. He could not imagine even conflict between Assam, India and the globe. That's why he wrote a very peculiar poem. Just I want to read it in English because people of Northeast should understand this poem. The name of the poem is Perspective. Assamiyat Perspective বুলিয়ে দিছে. Then in Assam is just one line. মৃত্যু জন্মৰ পৰা কিমান দূৰত মই মোৰ পৰা কিমান দূৰত. কত খলপীয়া মোৰ মই অসমীয়া মই সদিয়াত শ্ৰীলংকাত থিয় হৈ দেখো কুমাৰিকা কামৰূপ আৰু কাশ্মীৰৰ ত্ৰিভুজটো গোটেইখন যেন মোৰ জন্মঠাই সদিয়াহে. Just I'm reciting in English. How far is date from birth? How far I am from myself? I am so multi-layered. At Sadia, I am an Assamese. Standing in Sri Lanka, I see the triangle of Kumarika, Kashmir and Kamrup. The whole panorama is like my birthplace, Sadia. In New York, I met the young man from Africa. I felt I knew him for long, as if he is the muscular young man of my Sadia. In my perspective, people are optimistic.
So from this poem, Hodragupta Kashyap, I can read two things. One, the fact that you have been saying that he is a global citizen, and second, at the end of the day, his birthplace or his homeland, his native Assam, was very much in his mind at all points of time, whether it was Sri Lanka or whether he was standing in New York.
Exactly. That was why he had defined who is an Assamese. Had defined way back 40 years ago in 1970 or 71 that he had said that. What did he say? That Anore logate jodi Ohomia Ohomote nabase baru kotnu basiba. If the Assamese do not survive, are not protected, jodi nabase in Assam alongside others, where else would the Assamese survive? And then he said, who is an Assamese?
প্ৰতি অসমীয়া আমি
জুলনিৰ
ভাল-
পৰা আহি
So when did he write this?
1970,
So
71.
today, 40
67.
years later,
67,
67.
67.
And then he also-
45 years,
later.
for more than 50, around 50 years later, we are talking about who is an Assamese.
প্ৰতি
And he- and he-
অসমীয়া
and he
আমি
clear-
ভাল
and he
ভাৰতীয়
said, প্ৰতি অসমীয়া আমি ভাল ভাৰতীয়। Every
দূৰণিৰ
Assamese, we are
পৰা
good
আহি-
Assamese. দূৰণিৰ পৰা আহি অসমৰ মাতৃ বোলা প্ৰতি ভাৰতীয় হ'ল নতুন
ৰূপৰ
ৰূপৰ
অসমীয়া।
অসমীয়া।
আমি
Every
সেইভাবে
person-
থাকিলেই হ'ব।
Every person had come from all over different parts of India.
Indeed.
Remember, India have accepted and made the banks of the Brahmaputra their homes are the Assamese of the present times. আমি সেইভাবে থাকিলেই হ'ব। It's enough if we
Yeah.
remain like that. That's all. Full stop. There's no debate on that, no question on defining who is an Assamese. There's no question of finding a solution how Assamese will be protected. আনৰে লগতে অসমীয়া অসমতে যদিহে
যদিহে
নাবাচে।
নাবাচে
If
বাৰু
the Assamese
ক'তনো
do not
বাচিব?
survive in Assam alongside the others in Assam itself.
That's the true
that
liberal
is-
republicanism.
In this number,
Fine.
Wasbir, if you see what
Yeah.
he has beautifully quoted, that Azir Ohomia, Ohomot, Kopil Bora also said sometime back. But in this particular song, actually, he beautifully contradicted Lokinath Bezborua. Lokinath Bezborua wrote, "Ami Ohomia noho dukhia, kihor dukhia ho." Then during the Assam agitation time, he revised this song. That's why you say sometime back very nicely, he's very, very contemporary. When he saw the turmoil in Brahmaputra Valley, he made it very contemporary, and he told the Assamese people, if you are not concerned about your rights, if you do not stand up for your rights,
Just
then
thinking
I
about
think
the past
somebody is
glory?
going to-
No,
with
no.
past glory, you cannot survive.
Past glory, you cannot.
cannot
That
survive.
shows that how real he was. He was
contemporary he was.
practical to the point of being absolutely, difficult at times. Kopil, these messages, he have been cautioning the people of Assam from time to time, whether it is through his cinema or whether it is through the lyrics of his songs. He's been cautioning the people of Assam on many a times. And today, some of those warnings are turning out to be real. We'll talk about that, but Kopil, your reactions.
Yeah, because he was the Messiah, I think, because whatever he predicted is coming true, and he had predicted that long time back because he had that foresight, he had the intelligence to see where the Assamese race was going, how we are losing touch with our language, how we don't know our language, and those things he understood long time
The Assamese
back.
identity.
The Assamese identity, and the identity comes from the language. People don't know about the language, and the way Bhupen Hazarika projected the Assamese language was exemplary. So those are the kind of things we have to learn, because I personally learned the proper way to speak the Assamese language by listening to Bhupen Hazarika songs. I always tell actors, when we are shooting together and people are saying mispronouncing words, I always say listen to Bhupen Hazarika songs. You'll get the pronunciation, the accent correct. You'll get it right. So it's very important. The things he stood for, we have to follow this. The new generation has to follow. Otherwise, the Assamese community is not going to survive. I think we should survive the way he wanted us to survive.
His vision.
Yeah, his vision.
In
yes.
1976, he wrote a song in Assamese. I am singing the song. Mahashunyat upagraha rakhi, eya ganasongjog. Mahashunyat upagraha rakhi, eya ganasongjog koruar jog. Now this cell phone has come. In 1976, he wrote that we have to establish artificial satellite in the space to communicate people.
For mass communication.
And whenever I feel lazy, I always tell myself.
Probably Kopil didn't know.
Yeah, I was not born. So I always tell myself, 80 kyons and mukutare dhan. Like, those
How
kind of, those
precious
time
is,
management.
right? How
precious
precious
time
time is. We should understand.
But then again, there are stories behind all those songs. You talked about this particular song.
Right.
Eti Khan. That again, another episode. We can
Yeah.
talk later
Then
on.
let's go to
When we talk about his
Hemekarati.
films.
Now we are discussing this in
When we
winter,
talk
how
about
it was burned
films.
down in Lokhi Goswami's house in Tezpur
Right.
because of that labor somewhere in Mongaldoi, because of his trouble and troubled times he had, and he wrote that beautiful number, Hitora Hemekarati,
again-
thinking about the downtrodden, the disadvantaged section of the people.
Yeah.
That was, I think, very
But
dear to his heart.
one aspect that people generally do not discuss is that Bhupen Hazarika, the filmmaker, he was an amazing
Absolutely,
filmmaker.
I was coming to that.
There are
Yeah,
only three
yeah, yeah,
persons.
talk
There are
about
only
it.
three
Yeah.
persons till date who have won both the Bharat Ratna and the Dada Saheb
Phalke Award.
One is Satyajit Ray,
Satyajit Ray.
one is Lata Mangeshkar, one is Bhupen Hazarika. Twice in his career, he was bracketed for the award alongside Satyajit Ray.
Yeah.
When he made Erabator Fool,
Yeah.
3 years after Pather Pachali, he was
Yeah.
bracketed there. When he made Pratidhwani.
Now, what does it mean, Hamudra? What does it mean?
See, he's an artist par excellence. One, he's a communicator of the highest order. He was the first PhD in independent India on a topic of mass
Mass
communication, of how to use mass communication for
Adult
education, raising the literacy of India, because India was hardly 13 to 14% literate at the time when we got independent. So he used every form of communication that came his way, the way Hankodev did, the way Jyoti Prakash did. Films, he was there, songs, he was there, he was a very good artist. He made posters. In one, as a filmmaker, he had also done marketing of one of his films, Chick Meek Bijuli. He had also introduced through one of the very eminent sweet stores that is in Ulubari. A particular sweet was named Chick Meek Bijuli when Chick Meek Bijuli was launched.
Yeah.
Imagine the kind of publicity he knew.
During that
How
time.
during that time.
And Homadoko
The
Prakash
first film
Yeah.
in India which was crowdfunded was Bhupen Hazarika's film. Pratik Dhoni was crowdfunded. For now 7 days he took part in 17 functions and they raised 10,000 rupees.
And we think that crowdfunding is a
It's
new phenomenon.
concept.
Yeah.
It's a new concept.
So Homadoko Gupta Kashyap, you and I know that in Mr. Hemant Barwa's house, you were the other side of Bhupen Hazarika. Bhupen Hazarika, the artist. Bhupen Hazarika, the painter. We have got those black and white charcoal paintings. I think not many people may have even seen those paintings.
And the connoisseur of good life.
And that's why M.A. Bhupen probably said, Bhupen, you paint with your song, I want to see with my brush.
And
That's
they did
why
it, and they did it together.
And they did
I
it
have given the responsibility to do my music for Gajagaon.
But again, as an
That is how Gajagamini came about.
But look at the association, like Kamal had pointed out to that, Wasbi had pointed out to that famous episode where he had to, the Guwahati University had deducted 3 days of his salary. But where was he at that time? He was at the level of where Paul Robson, where M.F. Hussain, and
Balraj Sahni
Balraj
and all
Sahni,
those
Khaja
IPT
Ahmed
people.
Abbas, all those people are from all over the world at Helsinki, at the World Peace Conference there.
Kolkata, like Uttam Kumar, how respect Bhupen, he was given so respect by Uttam Kumar.
At the peak of the violence, in 1960, during the language trouble in Assam, he was there moving around in Calcutta, despite the fact that there was a poster which said Bhupen Hazarika Rokto Chai. We want the blood of Bhupen Hazarika. He was there. The government sent him a vehicle. He didn't take it. He survived that. And despite the fact there was professional rivalry as far as Bhupen Hazarika is concerned, I'll tell you one very interesting story. I don't know how all of you know. He had signed he had started working for a film called Neel Akachar Niche. And that story was by Mahadevi Verma. It was about a Chinese person working in Calcutta, and he was very close to the people who were part of the Indian struggle, Indian freedom movement. Now he got Mrinal Sen to write the script for 1,500 rupees. A production house was created called BH Films, Bhupen, Hemanta Films, Hemanta Kumar, and he would be the co-producer. The clapstick was given by Lata Mangeshkar. And then next morning he finds that his name was removed and became Mrinal Sen and Hemanta Mukherjee's production. So he was ditched that way, he was thrown out, and that was a kind of professional rivalry. Some people say that, Calcutta made him great. It's not. He struggled his way. Calcutta didn't really make him.
He found he
found
could
his
carve
way.
a
He
niche.
fought.
He
He
carved a
fought.
niche for
fought.
himself
He took everything.
in
He took everything
Calcutta,
his stride.
and he had to
He
struggle
struggled.
for that. That's what he was
Calcutta
saying.
didn't give you that contribution.
Yes, Kamal, you were saying something. Kamal.
Even then, Bhupenda, Lataji recorded the first Bengali song under the direction of Bhupen.
And that was the song of Homira Mati.
I know, Rongila Basite Keda Ke Mone Rekho, right? So Bhupenda is a man that he never past this past. He never think of doing some revenge or like that type
He
of
lived
thing.
in the future.
He lived in the
That's
future.
why he's alive
Present
today.
and future.
That's why he's around today.
He never look back. Never look back. They অমুকে মোক তমুক কৰিলে তাৰ মই বটলা ল'ম।
He's a very magnanimous
Therefore,
man. Yeah.
এইবিলাক কথা ধৰক।
Therefore, I have to ask you this question, Santanu Thakur, why do you think it took so long? Mayur has made some of his personal observations. I'll come back to that. But Santanu Thakur, what is your personal thought? Why did it take so long for New Delhi to confer an award like the Bharat Ratna on Dr. Bhupen Hazarika? Although there has been a demand from Assam and elsewhere for a long, long time.
See, the highest awards, ever since they were started, I believe had a very neutral element to it for quite some years. But then after a particular period in India's political history, or I would say the culture of the state, of the governments changed, and politics was brought into almost everything sacred also, where the areas where politics shouldn't enter, were violated, and politics got associated with who should be given an award and who should not. Apart from how much he deserved it or not, other dirty politics came into play. I think those must be the undesirable reasons
why
the
it
delay.
took so long. Now, Kopil, I mean, for an artist, you are also an artist yourself. And for an artist, an actor, a singer, a musician, a composer, now it should transcend politics, isn't it? I mean, it is something beyond politics.
Exactly.
It's something beyond language.
And in the case of someone as great as Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, someone so extraordinary, I think, and the other thing I really feel about him is that, see, he was such a great artist in every sense of the term. And he has been bestowed with the greatest, the biggest award the country can give to any person. And look at his, he started very humbly and he lived very humble, isn't it, Kamala?
Right.
He lived in
My
a small
goodness,
house.
I cannot imagine.
He lived in a small house. He wore his clothes tidily. He was a very neat and very. He loved to be
Stylish.
well-dressed,
Charismatic
stylish,
man, yeah.
charismatic person. But he lived simply. He lived simply. And we artists are always hankering after this car. We want this and that. I think all great artists live very simply. Even Janu Borua is living very simply. So someone like Dr.
Even
Bhupen Hazarika.
Lataji also.
Yeah,
simple.
simple.
No, we are
Look
talking
at this
about
greatness
from
of this
this,
man.
But
Wasbir, if I
yeah,
can
at
tell
this-
you just one point, because I studied
But we
the
have to
college
learn.
in which I studied, Shahrukh Khan was senior to me by 4 or 5 years. I met him in Singapore sometime back, and immediately after coming, I wrote before Bhupenda's demise. I have seen Bhupenda from close quarters, not on many occasions, but as I am from Chanmari, I used to meet him. My father used to take him. But I have seen the inborn charisma of Bhupen Hazarika is 100 times more than Shahrukh Khan, I can tell you. That's my personal opinion. Somebody may dispute.
but
because
but-
the
but-
aura
but
and
this-
charisma
this
of Bhupen
reminds me-
Hazarika is amazing.
The
It's simply
comparisons
amazing.
may or may not be
That's
necessary.
my
But that
observation.
reminds
I
me.
wrote.
But that
Absolutely.
reminds me.
Yes.
It's a case of grooming. You know, he had written somewhere that at the age of 10, when he was singing in Barn stage in Tejpur, and Jyoti Prasad Agarwal was sitting on the audience, and Jyoti Prasad Agarwal went up to him and called him and said, "Come here. Next time you sing at home, you take a mirror and look at yourself." He said, "What is the problem, sir?" He said, "When you sing, your right eyebrow, it moves unnaturally. So people will be not just listening to you while you sing, they will be looking at you, watching you. So you have to be fit for the occasion."
audio and visual
It's
both
a-
should be
it's a kind of, you'll be appearing there as a person, not just as a voice. So it took care. It took 5 to 6 years for him to correct this.
No,
small
I
thing.
raised this,
So that's how
yeah.
he came. But then imagine, look, again, Bhupen Hazarika was black and white in the black and white days. Santanu
Mm-hmm.
He had only a white shirt and always a scarf here.
But he was
But
always
as-
a star, you know.
always
Assam,
a star.
one and only star.
But
I
then
would
he
say.
moved with the times. He moved
One
with
and
the
only
medium.
star from Assam. All the stardust was on him.
Now,
Naturally.
I'll take another short break, but we were talking about how simple a life Bhupen Hazarika led, Mayur Bora. Basically at the end of the day, even when he passed away, Kamal, he didn't have, he was not at all, he didn't have anything called material wealth.
Yeah.
He died in almost
Penury.
penury.
Yeah, in
He had
relative-
nothing. He didn't have a mansion in Guwahati. He didn't have anything actually.
Both of them.
If-
Kalpana
if-
Lajmi
if-
and both of them.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I
Even
spent so
Kalpana
many
Lajmi.
nights with Bhupenda in Mumbai at his residence. Only around 700, less than 700 square feet, only a single room for Bhupenda. I slept
on a sofa.
in his veranda. So that was Bhupenda. Small cottage. You can say, what should I term it? I don't know. Small. Come on, 10 by 10.
Just enough space for
But
himself.
Yeah.
it has been very sufficiently, to some extent, not sufficiently, but to some extent, it has been also compensated lately by the Assamese people during his lifetime only. It reminds me of that 2009 Khodo Kham Satrahanta Asu program in Lotakil. It's truly amazing the way they have organized the program and felicitated him. I think it really touched his heart. I can see him weeping. The thousands of people, lakhs of people can see on television. So I think he got that. Of course, we are slightly late and we are slightly miserly in praising this great maestro.
Absolutely.
But today, he is the man who has gladdened all hearts of all Assamese people. I think that for
Absolutely
we proud about.
gladdened the hearts of the Assamese people. In fact, he's continuing to gladden the hearts of the Assamese people, and I'm sure he's going to do that for all times to come. On that note, we go for another short break. Stay on, we'll be right back. Bhupenda, now Bharat Ratna. Hamadrika Kashyap, we're talking about Bhupenda's music, but Northeast figured quite prominently in his compositions. He had a special attachment with the entire. See, those days Northeast was one big region, one big state, Assam. But he had a special connect with the region, the people, and the entire life of this place.
No, he didn't just belong to Assam, he belonged to the entire region, and he took the region to the world, he brought the world to the region. That's why I look at it. There are songs that are written about Mizoram, the songs that are written about Nagaland, the songs that are written about Arunachal, which is birthplace, of course. So many songs about Arunachal.
Yeah.
About Shillong, how is glorified Shillong? Shillong Mare Godhuli, that song. No, amazing, nobody can think of that. I don't think there's a Khasi song that beautiful, that sweet about Shillong. I'll just read to you about a song which people have not heard. I have not heard the song being sung. Kamal would know. This is about a homage to Mizoram. It says, I'm translating it, Ka mongai che Mizoram, I love you Mizoram, to the clickety-click rhythm of the cherao flows the Kaladan.
Right.
The lofty blue Phangpui hills scream something in silence. Jhum cultivators toiling on the hill slopes stop for a moment and bid us adieu with a smile. Waving at us, they say Chibai, Chibai. Oh, what a view, a feast for the eye. This country of struggling people, Mizoram. Ka mongai che Mizoram.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
That was a
Imagine that.
wonderful
Wherever
song.
he goes, whenever
We
wherever
remember we had heard this song for the first time when it was created at Mizoram.
and even 19...
Where were you then, Santan?
I was in school. I was a school student.
Okay. Yes, Kamal, you were saying something?
For Meghalaya, that is for Potidhani, one beautiful song. Lian Macau,
Yeah.
pahad ki khor hote, ba sai sa. So these words, Lian Macau, Jain Same Khoni, Bijuli re Bua, Jain Same, that is the cloth word.
Kamal, can I give you the English rendering of this? He said, Lian Macau, on which mountain peak are you waiting for me?
Right.
Have you ever wondered, why shall I keep my hut of melodies empty? How long shall I weep alone?
Yeah.
Your hair, you dyed with hues of the Dengshe leaves. Have you heard the echoes of my Sharati flute? Smile with those hues.
And
Oh sky,
absolutely.
have you seen my maid? Have you noticed her Jainsim woven with yarns of lightning? Bijuli re Bua.
Bhupenda went to...
Her red lips.
Amudra, it is poetry in motion, actually.
Her red lips painted
How
with
it is
honey.
connected to the
Her red lips painted with honey. Oh dew, oh Nior, your whistle, Kuble Shibun. Shibun to you, Kuble Shibun.
That also,
How he's
Amudra,
connected
how
with
he's
the backdrop
connecting.
and background.
Yeah,
See,
backdrop and background. At the same time, his power of observation. How deeply he is going into the
The
culture.
same
Yes.
bamboo, the same bamboo. The boy in Assam plays the Bahi, the Khasi boys play the Sharati. The same bamboo.
There is
Yes,
another
Mayur.
famous number by Silongore, by Bhupen Hazarika, Silongore
Mona Lisa Lingdo.
There he has not talked about like blending of cymbals or khols or other thing. He said, Silongore Mona Lisa Lingdo, Tumar Hator guitar khonit, hilibili music bojai jua. So when he talked about Silong, when he talked about in a different way of love and romance, he also talked about that hilibili music on a guitar. So this Bhupen Hazarika, he's connected with a backdrop, he's connected with geography, he's connected with history because he talked about the tradition of Assamese people and tried to inspire them and enthuse them by invoking our past glory, at the same time telling that you need not rest only on your past glory, you must try to stand up for your rights. And that is
At
Bhupen
the changing
Hazarika
times.
himself, yeah.
So
And keeping pace with the changing face of time. How black and white Bhupen Hazarika, Kapil will be able to tell is better. How he became a very colorful personality in conformity with the demands of the time, not appearing gaudy and garish at any point
No,
of time,
here
but
I would
always
like
conforming.
Here, Kopil, I have had several, like all of you, I have had several conversations with him. Some
We
not
spent
always.
several evenings together.
Several evenings together. Amudra knows it better, and we.
At MM
But you have not told everything about the evening. That also we must talk about. We must
I
know
will
the
not tell.
celebratory aspect
No, I
also.
will not tell everything about the evenings.
I'll tell you one small
Please
thing. I'll tell you one small thing.
after-
One evening he tells us, me and Wasbir and Prakamta Rajguru, okay, tonight we talk on dinner table, find out all the flaws in my songs. What are the glaring errors? One error was that in that Moi Kohimara Adhunika Dalimi, he says that he falls in love with that girl who spent her childhood in Jakhama, in Angami area. And he said, I have become a son-in-law to Ensang. Imagine the Nagas will be fighting among themselves. Who is our son-in-law?
Jakhama.
Had I been there, I would have pointed out another mistake Bhupenda made. Normally, he never makes mistakes in pronunciation at least. Moh bure juje, birina more neki. Moh no moh.
Likewise,
And
Jibon and
the
Zion.
best part
They had
is
used
he
both.
would have accepted and he might have accepted.
He
and
enjoyed
everything
that. He
smilingly.
enjoyed that.
He will accept
He enjoyed
everything
that.
smilingly. I think
enjoyed
that's the best part of the
And
band.
we asked him, how will that girl send you a letter? Hoito more purana thikana tomar modern. Purana thikana, I don't stay in my old address. Even if you send the letter there, what's the point of asking her to do that? So he accepted. So that was the guy, he was reviewing his songs.
So anyway,
He was reviewing his songs.
so
But then I think, Basbi, as a filmmaker, very little discussion has been made about Bhupen Hazarika as a filmmaker. I was a student of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and at that time, Doordarshan on a particular Sunday was telecasting Loti Ghoti. And we are all asked to come, and we are all asked to come to the class on the audiovisual communication department. You watch this film. This is the first and the only film which is a satire on Indian cinema. No one has done a satire on Indian cinema till date.
So only satire.
Much ahead of his time.
Much ahead of his time. Look at Sikmik Bijuli. It is about how a town called Guwahati becomes a city with all the vices and virtues coming with it.
So without generalizing, Kopil, we cannot generalize anything. Things move on. We have to go with the times. So when I was asking Bhupenda one day that are you worried that the Western culture, with the advent of the internet, with the advent of modern technology, music, the Indian classical music or Indian music is under threat? He said he gave a reference talking about Assamese language culture. He said that our language and culture, our roots are so strong that I am not at all bothered. But he said that he loves the modern music. That's what we were saying. I think Moir was saying he was moving, always a person who moved with the times. In fact, Santanu just said that he was ahead of the times. So how do you look at it, and what is the message to the present day lyricists, present day songwriters and singers?
See, for me, Bhupen Hazarika, I don't know. For me, Bhupen Hazarika, east, west, everything. For me, he's the international star. For me, he's someone who represents Assam. For me, he's someone who represents the Northeast. His lyrics, the philosophy, his songs, his music, everything is everything for me. I don't know. For me, he's everything. He's the god of music. He's the god of. He is the actual artist of our region, of this century. So, what are you saying? So,
no, any message that the present day songwriters, if you have to leave a mark for many years to come?
No, I think they have to just listen to and understand the songs and the thought behind the songs. Yes. The thought behind the songs and why he wrote them and how
and the
he wrote
contemporary
them.
relevance. I mean, present day
always relevant.
society,
They're timeless.
socio-political, cultural happenings around you. He had a song for every occasion, isn't it, Kamal?
Yeah, it was timeless.
Actually,
For every major event that marked Assam's transition, Bhupenda had a song.
my request.
I think
or
when
suggestion-
Saraighat Bridge was built, that also he had a song.
Brahmaputra Duti Par Dalome
Yes.
Love Lovale. My request to all the new generation lyricists
1962.
that we have enough Assamese beautiful word in our dictionary. Please utilize these Assamese words instead of using slang words, suma, tuma, all these things, nonsense, all the time in lyrics, just for the sake
And the
of
way
popularity.
Bhupen Hazarika used the word Suma.
He used it much more.
Much
but
more.
Really, we
No
delighted
need.
everyone.
No need.
Yeah.
নিমুত্তমৰ নিশাতি মৌন তাৰ সুতাৰে বোৱা এখনি নীলা চাদৰ।
তোমাৰ অংগ জ্বলন্ত
জ্বলন্ত
মই যে
জুই,
পতংগ।
পতংগ।
So
What more you want?
that's why they should learn, they should study Bhupenda's lyrics.
And we should also understand the romantic he was.
Right, right.
yeah,
the
yeah.
romance he
If-
had.
If somebody
Love,
wants to be,
romance, I think you
And the
cannot
love for
dissociate
nature,
from Bhupen
if
Hazarika.
somebody wants to become a lyricist as a career profession, he must read Bhupenda's lyrics and study how he wrote lyrics.
And I beg to differ, Kamala, not just a lyricist. Any person, any Assamese who wants to be a true Assamese artist has to follow Bhupen Hazarika.
Bhupenda,
any individual.
Even in walking also.
In any
Smart
individual.
walking, Bhupenda.
But then
So
what
smart.
happens, once you start reading, learning or studying Bhupen Hazarika, you'll be taken back to your roots. You'll be taken back to Jyotir Prasad, you'll be taken back to
Yes,
Bedpura,
yes.
you'll be taken back to Hankordev, you'll be taken back to Kumar Bhaskar, and so on. You'll be taken back to history,
Even-
taken
even-
back to
Can I
mind.
say something? Yeah.
The
Can I
means-
say something?
What I'm saying meaning
Yes,
is that
yes.
you'll have deep roots and you'll not be swayed
and
And the
by
greatness
any
of the singer, the greatness of the as a musician, I'm telling you, whenever I listen to Penzaka songs, he sings them with so much ease. You feel as if these songs are so easy,
Right.
Yeah, they're so easy. He sings them so effortlessly. But the moment he passed away, and there were other singers singing his songs, then I realized that these songs are actually very tough.
You see, this
Yeah.
song, Janata
When-
Tantra.
When others sing them, they are so
Actually
tough.
put in very
When he
hard
talks
work
about the river also,
that
behind
nobody could
each
imagine.
of his songs to make it look and sound so easy.
Janata Tantra
He had toiled to bring that effect.
You see, Kapil, I want to pronounce few lines. জনতাতন্ত্ৰৰ সাজি ল'লো অস্তৰ স্বতন্ত্ৰতাকে আনিম বুলি অসমীয়া ইন আছামিজ
কুখন জৰ্জৰ সহস্ৰ মানুহৰ আৰ্তনাদ আৰু নুশুনো
In
বুলি
Assamese-
He talks about Brahmaputra river, not only the water flows, history flows. সুদূৰ কান্য কুব্জৰে পৰা বাৰভূঞা আহিছিলে সেই বংশতে শংকৰদেৱ ইয়াতে জন্মিলে মৰুৰ দেশৰে আজান ফকীৰে মধুৰ জিকি ৰচিলে দিল্লীৰ দিলুৱাৰে আহি অস্থি পুথি ৰচিলে
now my
Not only
request-
water,
my
not only
request-
river, history flows, and that's why flows our encouragement and inspiration. It is for the Assamese people now. How we get infected by
I
the
look at it
passion
the
and
other way. I
cultural
look at it the
goodness
other way. I
that
look at
Bhupen Hazarika signifies or embodies.
I look at it the other way. No one on earth has documented human history in the last 7 decades as Bhupen Hazarika has done.
Yes, that is a very
from Paul
important aspect.
Robeson there
That's a
to-
very important
to
aspect.
Kalpana Chawla disappearing in space. Every moment of human history. The Second World War, the First World War, the changes, the oceans meeting each other. We sending satellites to the
Everything has been
space.
covered.
Everything is documented. The bridge being made on this river. Which river? What kind of kanduli fish you get in which river? Everything is documented everywhere. So I had a very interesting experience. Kamal and I worked together. His last project.
Yeah.
That was a 26 episode mega serial for Doordarshan, which was called Brahmaputra an Endless Journey. In Hindi, it was called Brahmaputra Antahin Yatra. His mandate was that connect every state, every people, every community to the Brahmaputra through a river. So we went to every state, found out each river which comes to the Brahmaputra and meets it there, including rivers of Sikkim, including rivers of the Barak Valley, including rivers of of Mizoram. They finally go and meet. Finally, the Ganga comes and flows and empties into the Brahmaputra. That is where Bhupen Hazarika belongs to. It's seen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Santanu, you're saying something?
Maybe I'll end with this. I was just thinking, so as long as the Burha Luit, Bhupenda's Old Man River, as long as that flows on, the legend of Bhu has, as one of my friends puts it, the legend of Bhu has will
Yeah.
flow on.
Absolutely. Now, Hamudra, I want you to, all of you actually, everybody wanted to, lot of people, it's not just the Assamese, but a lot of people wanted to take ownership of Bhupenda. So, I mean, every community, everybody, a lot of people wanted to take ownership of Bhupenda. How do you look at it? Like Bengal, for example, even Bangladesh.
Like that song was not sung by him. He sang it, but it was not written by him. It was by Nirbal Prabha Bordole, where he said, "Moi ei matile lora." I am a son of this soil, and this soil is Assam. This soil is the Brahmaputra, the banks of the Brahmaputra. Where he said, "Lohitore bahal parat pranipat koru." জন্ম ললো ইয়াতে মই মৰো so
Luitor para Mississippi hoy
but then he goes
Volga
from Lohit to the Mississippi to the Volga and comes
Yeah.
back touching the tomb of Gorky. Mark Twain and Gorky, and comes back and says, no, but then my obeisance to the Brahmaputra, I was born on this bank, I want to come back and lie down here for my final rest. So he belongs to this land where we are.
That is where he
And
came
he
back.
talked about Mark Twain
Yeah.
and Gorky when Cold War is at peak. He is talking about going to US, talking about Mark Twain, and also invoking the beautiful contribution of Maxim Gorky.
So
he took Assam to the world, he
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
world to Assam.
I think we should not regret that Bhupenda's Bharat Ratna was coming late, because in case of Rabindranath Bordole was also same. So that question is, I think, at
I
this
think it
moment,
came through a system.
It
Padma
came through a
Shri,
system,
Padma Bhushan,
and,
Padma
It
Vibhushan.
was
finally.
meaningless. I think regret. I think so.
None
We
of us are
should
regretting
celebrate
the
this
Prime
Bharat Ratna
Minister's
award of
tweet,
Bhupenda.
what the Prime Minister said was extremely apt. What the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's tweet, after Bhupenda was conferred the Bharat Ratna, was amazing. He has summed up this man. He has summed up Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. If you can have a close-up of that tweet, if you can have a full-frame close-up of that tweet, that will be interesting, because I'm forgetting, but yes, that is the tweet. If it can sort of, we can take the songs and music of Sri Bhupen Hazarika are admired by people across generations. From them radiates the message of justice, harmony and brotherhood. He popularized India's musical traditions globally. So these are some of the points which we discussed this morning, but it has been summed up by the Prime Minister. Yes, Moyur.
Here I have a contrarian
Yes.
view. Although system and all you talk about, I think political correctness, Frederick Forsyth has said, has sometimes become the new fascism in this world. So I don't want to be politically correct. I would have been happier. I told about UPA government, the kind of injustice they did by awarding only the Padma Vibhushan after his demise. So let me put things in record that I would have been happier had they been given in 2015 or 16. But having said so, it doesn't mean that this award is not important for the people of Assam. But I felt had it been awarded earlier, the prestige of the award would have enhanced. And that I am telling not as an
But I
emotional
am posing a counter question,
Yes,
Samudra.
please. Yeah.
Suppose the award would not have been given even now.
No,
then what would you have to say?
Let me say.
No, we have to give
Mahatma
credit.
Gandhi did not get Nobel Prize for peace, but he was nominated 5 times. Leo Tolstoy did not get
No,
Nobel
let's
Prize
not-
for literature.
No,
that
but
is
at
very
the-
important. But
at the-
everyone
at the-
remembers Mahatma Gandhi and Leo Tolstoy.
At the end of
Not
the day-
many people remember who are
At
the
the
last
end of the
seven.
day,
Why-
Kamal,
ah.
at the end of the day, it may be late. I'm not questioning the timing. At the end of the day, it's a great occasion for Assam.
Yeah, definitely
and the
a
credit
great
goes
occasion.
credit goes to the Narendra Modi government, the present government, and
Definitely,
whoever
we must
was in
give.
the jury or
They are
whoever.
bound to. They are
I
bound
mean,
to. They cannot escape from Bhupen Hazarika. You cannot
absolutely.
run away
Must
from
give,
Bhupen
we
Hazarika.
must give.
They're bound to come back to Bhupen Hazarika.
Because I think
when you
that-
think of Assam,
just
when you think of
I
Assam's
told you
problems,
few
when you
minutes
think of Assam's issues, you have to come back to Bhupen. He is the
Why-
person
why
who
this
defined
question
his
is-
solution.
Only point I said I would
The
have been
Robert
happier
Burns of
had it
Assam.
been given in
I
2015.
think we
Yeah,
would-
everyone
no,
would
why
have been happier.
2015?
Yeah.
Why are you
Yeah,
taking
no,
a
no, no,
timeline
that's
of
not-
2015?
On a limited scale, I'm there. Otherwise,
No,
too, I
why
always
not?
feel
Why
an
not?
award should be given during
Why
their lifetime.
not in the
Like
year
Nobel
2000?
Prize, like Nobel
Why
Prize,
not
it
in
should
the
be
year
given during
2000?
their
Why
lifetime.
not in 2005?
That's what was
Why
being-
not in 2010?
That's what I'm telling. I personally feel all awards should be given during their lifetime. That's why
Yes.
I invoke what the ASU did in 2009, what Assam government did in 2008
Okay,
by
the-
Bharat Ratna.
But-
See,
but-
the
but at
two,
this
one,
moment- but
two
at
other
this
people,
moment-
two
but-
other people have been conferred the Bharat Ratna. Nanaji Deshmukh posthumously along with Dr. Bhupen Hazarika and Pranab Mukherjee.
Pranab
He is still
Mukherjee.
living. Well, we all know that Pranab Mukherjee had been a great parliamentarian. Forget about, irrespective of which party he belongs to, that is not important today. The fact that he went to become the president of the country, and he has been someone who has been accepted by different hues, different political people with different political thought processes have come to accept him as a great statesman. I think therein lies the message. Samudra, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you look at Pranab Mukherjee, he's a learned person who presented the highest number of times the Indian budget there, and he's played a very critical role, crucial role in the subcontinent.
Yeah.
As far as the relationship of India and Bangladesh is concerned, very, very important. And he had, look at the way he had, Pranab Mukherjee had manned how many very, very crucial ministries, right from finance to. I think he had handled defense. Once upon a time.
If I can butt in, once the initial euphoria and joy will die down, after dying down of this, I think as an Assamese people, since we are in a crucial and critical moment, we should pay tribute to this bard of the Brahmaputra by getting inspired what he has cautioned us many years back. We have to stand for our rights, and that's what we are trying to do, employing all constitutional means in a democratic, non-violent way. I think that is
Can I,
what is the reality for the Assamese people.
Wasbi, can I just read a rendering, English rendering of this second song, the most famous song, Agni Juga Firingoti?
Yeah.
It's called A Spark of Fire. I am a spark of fire. I am a spark of the age of fire. I'll bring back all that the downtrodden had lost and build a new India. I'll destroy the exploiters with weapons made of human skeletons and return to them all that the downtrodden had lost. There is no place here for merchants of religion or traders of parochialism. I'll destroy with my own hands the demons of untouchability and build a new India. I'll make love flow like honey through races and communities, pull down barriers of discrimination and build a new heaven of equality. I'll build a new India. Can you sing that song?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you have that song? It's playing in the background. Can you have some? Can we
Actually,
Can we play the song? Just a minute, Kamal. Let's hear for a few seconds.
Yeah.
10 to 20 seconds. We'll again come back to you, Kamal.
I'll destroy the exploiters.
নরকঙ্কালর অস্ত্র সাজি কোহনকারিক বোধিম নরকঙ্কালর অস্ত্র সাজি
Yes.
কোহনকারিক বোধিম
Yes, Kamal, you wanted to say something.
I'll destroy the exploiters with the weapons made of human skeletons.
I was surprised during this last visit, Prime Minister
Yeah.
Narendra Modi ji for the Advantage Assam. This song was recited by Prime Minister, our Honorable Prime Minister. For the first time in the history, I think from independence, I don't know, probably only the Prime Minister, only
He's the only Prime Minister.
only Narendra Modi ji had recited so many songs of Bhupenda I have noticed in my life.
Yeah.
No one else. No
now,
one else.
I don't have much
That's
time.
why Bhupen Hazarika deserves not only
Right.
because of reciting by Prime Minister, because
Yes.
his lyrics and
Yeah.
composition had a great contribution towards the Indian culture.
Absolutely. Now, I don't have much time. I would like to start from Mr. Santanu Thakur. Santanu, what now? As Mayur was saying, now it is our duty to how to keep alive. Now the question is, what now? Because we were all waiting for the Bharat Ratna, it has come. Now it is the big challenge, it is a big responsibility to keep alive the legacy of Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. Now, this award has, as I have said, as we all have said, has once again, refreshed us, brought us back to this discussion, the general discourse on Bhupenda. The narrative has been there, but as the initial euphoria, as Mayur was saying, fades, what happens? What now? Because Dr. Bhupen Hazarika is not likely to get any more big awards in the days to come. This is a very critical question. I would like to start from Santanu Thakur. The same question will go to everybody. Santanu, what now? How to keep alive?
The man has left behind such a vast treasure trove of contributions, which any society worth its salt and any society which has an appreciation for music, literature and things like that should try to build on. We have to have serious practitioners in music. We have to have even musicologists into play and build on the different aspects of the magic called Bhupen Hazarika. See, a serious music director could pick up 2-3 songs of Bhupen Hazarika and maybe do a symphony on them, maybe do a world fusion on them, get some of the best bands and best symphony orchestras the world over and give them a few Bhupen Hazarika tunes. I can tell you personally, it will work wonders. We could go to Neil, this man, great musician from Shillong. He understands after all the ethos of Northeast. We could give him a few songs, few strains, and leave him free to build on that. So that's the way how we could take it farther and not remain confined to the songs which, in fact, apart from him, nobody can sing as well. So we have to build on the legacy left behind by Bhupenda.
Kopil, do you think what Santanu is saying, do you have to add to that? Do you think there is a systematic approach that is necessary?
Absolutely.
And the government has to come in some form or the other apart from everybody else?
You've used the exact term, systematic approach has to be there. And the generation who knew, and like for instance, the 6 gentlemen of us sitting here, we are all very passionate about Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, so we are here. But the generations which are going to come, they have to know who Bhupen Hazarika is and what are the songs, what philosophies he stood for. And for that, I think it has to start early. In every school in the state of Assam, I don't know about the rest of the country, but in every school of the state of Assam, there has to be a chapter introducing the children to Bhupen Hazarika. Initially at the very young age, then when they reach high school, and when again they are about to pass out of high school, So systematically there has to be chapters on Bhupen Hazarika and finally maybe on his lyrics, and there has to be a thing about his music, This has to be something that has to be, to preserve his music thing has to be done. For instance, singers, the new singers, for instance, when we have a legacy of our family, we always try to preserve that legacy. When our father has left us something, we try to preserve, we try to show it to the world. Like that, likewise, all our new singers, they have to, wherever they are performing, I think they should always perform a Bhupen Hazarika song.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Whether it's a male, female singer, whoever. So I think it's upon the new generation to save and preserve the great
Upon the
works.
new generation lies a lot of responsibility. Hamaduga Prakashab, your take on this
I think it's very, very important to keep telling the story of Bhupen Hazarika, telling the story of his songs to the younger people by various means. One could be, like as Kapil had said, one song of his in the school assembly.
Yes.
Once a week. Yes. There's so many. There's a Bezpura song in CBSE school.
Select songs.
Select songs.
Select songs.
And then also tell the people, tell the young, as you were talking about the lyricists. So look at, I'll just quote from two different songs. One, what is the song about? He said, let my songs be a deep reassurance against prevailing lack of trust. Mayur. Again, in a situation of mistrust. One. Two, what do I want to do? Where do I draw my power from? He said, the sky gave me a wider vision, and the storm its might. Thunder bestowed a powerful voice to me, and courageous logical views. With the voice of thunder and the might of the storm, I'll shake the horizon with my song. I'll sing songs of humanity even in the midst of demons.
Right.
You sing a song of
Absolutely, hitting the
humanity in the
horizon.
midst of lemons.
Whose translation
So,
is that?
so how do you sum up?
Oh, wonderful.
How do you sum up, Homodro?
So-
What now to preserve the legacy? What now?
One, I said it has to be in the textbook, as you already said.
Yeah.
Two is that, a song has to be there in the morning assembly in schools. This way we infuse these
Yeah.
songs into him. Three, there could be institutions in his name, not just name the institution, but work there. There could be a chair in the university, not only here, but elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
And it looks very funny, but then naming roads in important places is very, very important.
Yeah, yeah,
One
that's
road in the capital of this country needs to be named after Bhupen
Yeah,
Hazarika.
yes,
Where
absolutely.
Oh,
people
yes.
will be looking at it.
Oh yes. Now he deserves it. The government perhaps will do it. We'll wait and watch how the state government also puts pressure on the concerned people
India
to
House
do
in
so.
London, there is no other photograph of any other person
than Bhupen
culture other than Bhupen
Yeah.
Hazarika.
Now,
So I
now,
agree
now
with,
Mayur.
yeah, I agree
Mayur.
with all three of them, whatever beautiful suggestions they have given. And at the end, I'd
Very
like to
briefly.
say I always get inspired by the guiding spirit of the number which Samudragupta Kashyap has said, the more gan hok, bohu asthahinataar biporite, a govir asthar gan. Let the lyrics be a source of trust in a world which has been plagued by trust deficit. I think that is the most important factor that is staring in the face of Assamese people now. Let trust building up this thing and amity and coordination come back, and whatever trouble and turmoil we have seen, let it be a thing of the past in the times to come. I think if we can invoke the legacy of Bhupen Hazarika, pay our tribute to this Renaissance man of Assam, I think that will be the
Renaissance
lasting
man of Assam.
That will be
Very
the
well said,
lasting,
Mayur.
lasting tribute
Very
to
well
Bhupen
said.
Hazarika.
Last words to you,
Yeah.
Kamal Kotak.
Yeah, apart from introducing his lyrics and each and every creative work in schools, at least if government India, I am appealing the government of India, one rail in the name of Jajabor Express or like that, from Guwahati to Mumbai or somewhere else,
One railway train.
if it is introduced, then people will, when the train will go through the villages of some parts of the connecting villages, people will remember, oh, this Jajabor Express, that is Bhupen Hazarika. That will also help to continue his legacy. A little bit materialistic also, sounds materialistic,
required, but it's
it
required.
is necessary, I think.
Well. All good conversations must come to an end. I'd like to thank all my panelists. At the end of the day, we at Northeast Live, this is a humble attempt to pay tribute to the maestro. And of course, we will continue with our initiative to sum up all the suggestions that our esteemed panelists have given this afternoon and bring it to the notice of the concerned authorities. We hope viewers who have been witnessing this program would also put in their their thoughts on our website, and so that we can put together all this and see that the concerned people gets to know some of the suggestions that have come up of this panel. And on this note, we thank everybody who has viewed this program, all our viewers, and of course the panelists. Have a very good evening.